ICE. The word has become chilling for more than one reason. Over recent years, crystal methamphetamine use and its impact on families has become of increasing concern to governments, the public and the media. Do we truly have reason to be concerned about this substance, or are our fears exaggerated? And if we do have reason to be concerned, what are the aspects of this problem that we should be most concerned about, and what should we be doing about it? My name is Lindsay Wegener. I'm the Executive Director of Peak Care, a Queensland child protection peak body. In August 2017, Peak Care, in partnership with the Queensland Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander Child Protection Peak, QATSIP, and the Queensland Government, hosted a 2-day symposium that we called Just ICE. Just ICE with a question mark. At the symposium, close to 200 people gathered together to seek some answers. They included people from the government and non-government sectors. They included researchers and academics, executive and senior managers and staff from both sectors. And importantly, they included people who had been touched by their family's own use of this substance. As pointed out by Natalie Lewis, QATSIP CEO, in her welcoming comments to the participants, all who gathered together for those 2 days were committed to building their knowledge and working collaboratively together in seeking some answers.
The fact that so many of you are here today is an indication of your commitment and interest in this subject, and that you all recognise the importance of working collaboratively across our sectors to increase our knowledge and skills. QATSIP has been delighted to partner with Peak Care and the Queensland Government on this initiative, and I'd just like to acknowledge the contributions of Minister Shannon Fentiman, who will be presenting the opening address tomorrow.
The Department of Communities, Child Safety and Disability Services, as well as the Department of the Premier and Cabinet, were also thanked by Natalie for their support and contribution to the symposium. A special mention was also made of the many non-government organisations who banded together to become symposium sponsors. They included Act for Kids, Anglicare Southern Queensland, the Benevolent Society, Churches of Christ Care, ComSync, Compass Seminars, Foster Care Queensland, Infinity Community Solutions, Calwyn Development Corporation, Mercy Community Services, Mission Australia, St Vincent de Paul, Uniting Care and Your Town.
So in giving that fairly cryptic title of Just ICE to this symposium, we wanted to make sure that we send a message that methamphetamine use should not be looked at in isolation from the full range of factors that impact on the safety and well-being of children and families. So you're all very intelligent people and very committed people, and while we're all here absolutely to learn about this topic and on that sort of quest for new knowledge, you have an abundance of knowledge that will already help you, because we have a really firm understanding about what are the drivers that impact upon families and see that increase in representation, particularly of Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander children in out-of-home care.
So we want to make sure during the discussions that we cover the full range of issues. So that ranges from what we can do better to ensure that this particular substance, or for that matter any substance, doesn't take hold of the lives of children, young people and their families. But it's also about looking at what are the results, what are some of the promising results that we can find out from research and an evidence base about treatment options and approaches. At the same time, we also don't want to, during the course of this symposium, shy away from having some difficult discussions. So some of the quandaries that is inherent within child protection work. So what does this substance and the prevalence of this substance mean today to how decisions are made within the child protection system, how policies are formed and the kind of service responses that we need to be providing to families. So there are some dilemmas in that, and that's always the business of child protection, dealing with the grey areas, dealing with the dilemmas and coming up with the best possible solutions. Reference was also made to the state government's draft Action on ICE strategy that is currently out for comment and feedback. In particular, mention was made of a number of at-risk groups identified within the government's strategy. They included Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander peoples, people who identify as lesbian, gay, bisexual and/or intersex, and people who work in certain industries, including fly-in, fly-out workers. And this note of caution was expressed about how that piece of information was interpreted and understood.
What's very clear to us is that a person's Aboriginality is not a risk factor, nor is their sexuality a risk factor, nor is their job a risk factor. The risk factors are much more to do with what certain groups within our society deal with every day. So the risk factors are much more to do with homophobia and racism and social isolation. They are the risk factors, not those people. So we need to be very clear about making those distinctions and inadvertently not misinterpreting that information. If we misinterpret it and we don't name those issues and deal with those issues that are truly the risk factors, then we risk further marginalising groups. So we want you to bear that in mind very much as we proceed during the course of the symposium. It's about being very, very clear in defining what the problem is and defining the issues and dealing with that in a way that isn't driven by a media reaction or isn't driven by hysteria, but is driven by your practice wisdom and your very, very clear analysis about this issue.
Once again, PCARE and QATSEP thank the Queensland Government for partnering with us in hosting the Just Ice Symposium. Once again, we also thank the many non-government organisations who became symposium sponsors. It is with a great deal of pleasure that we are releasing a series of digital recordings of the Keynote and Podium Express presentations that were presented during the symposium. We trust that as you view these digital recordings, you will benefit very much from what you hear and see. Thank you.